Hi, Specca Spartans. Today I'm going to actually show you a quick video on how you do long division with multi-digit numbers. So I'm sure we've all seen it before. Maybe you know a different method from the one that I'm going to show you, but I'm going to show you one that has always worked for me. But again, feel free to use your partial quotient or any other method that you have learned, and you will still get the same solution. So before we begin, I just want to go over a few things with you. So when we are dividing multi-digit numbers, we need to understand the vocabulary words that are associated with that. So let's look at what we got here. We have the word divisor. I'm going to actually put a line under it. I'm going to use an orange line. The divisor is the number that you are using to divide. So the 14 is the divisor. It's outside the house. So outside the house is called the 14. Now let's look at what the dividend is. And I'm going to annotate that word in red. When you look at dividend, it has the word divide. So clearly the dividend is the number being divided into. So here your 56 is the dividend, the number that we are dividing into in order to get the quotient, which leads me to the next word. The quotient is the answer to a division problem. I'm going to annotate that in pink. The quotient is the answer to the addition problem. So here, the 4 is my quotient, which is the answer to the division problem. So when we are dividing multi-digit numbers, we need to know a memory trick or some kind of strategy to help us understand. Maybe some of you have heard something different, like I like to say D, drink for divide, M, multiply for my, S, star for subtraction, and B, bucks for bring down. So I like to call it drink my Starbucks. So the first thing we have to ask ourselves is if we have 14 on the outside and we have 56 on the inside as the dividend, how many times does 14 go into 5? Clearly, we know that 14 does not go into 5, so therefore I have to write a 0 up on top. Oops, I'm not sure what's going on. I'm going to put a 0 here. Now, 0 times 14 is going to actually give us 14. So I'm just going to actually erase this part here. Oh no, undo. Uh-oh. Okay. So this would be 0 times 14. I'm going to multiply and I get 0. 56 from 0 gives me 56. Now I have to try to figure out how many times does 14 go into 56. So let's pick a number, 14, and let's try 4. How many times does 14 go into 56? Well, let's try the number 4 and see if we get something close to 56 or if we get something over that number. So this is how we would do it. We're going to do some trial and error. So let's multiply. We're going to multiply 4 times 4 we know is 16. We're going to put down the ones number, which is a 6. And we're going to carry or bring up the 1. 1 times 4 is 4 plus 1 is 5. So guess what? 14 goes into 56 4 times. Now we're going to multiply. 4 times 14, as we know, is 56. I write 56. So I divided, right? How many times does 56 go into 14? It goes 4 times. I then multiplied 4 times 16. I got 56. I now subtract the 56 in blue minus the 56 in pink, and I receive 0, and there's nothing for me to bring down. So now we know that the quotient, which is the answer to the division problem, is 4. But now we need to figure out how are we going to check this work. So every time you do a division question, you need to check my work. And what you're going to do is you are going to multiply the divisor, which is the outside the house, by the quotient, which is the answer we got, which is on top. So the 14 in this question was my divisor, the outside the house, and the inside the house, the top of the number, which is called the quotient, the answer to the division problem, is the 4. So now I have to now multiply 14 times 4, and I should get my quotient. I should get the number above the quotient. So now when I multiply this, let's make a line here. When I multiply 14 times 4, folks, let's do it together. 14 times 4. Whoops. How much is 4 times 4? How many groups of 4 do I need? 4 groups of 4 is going to be equal to 16. So therefore, I can put down the 6 and I can carry or bring up my 1. Whatever word you want to say, I put a 6 here and I bring up a 1. I now know that 4 times 4 is 4 times 1 is 4 plus 1 is 5, 56. My dividend, which is this number 56 outside and under the house, inside the house, matches. Therefore, I know it's correct. So to recap, you are going to divide, multiply, subtract, bring down, and keep repeating. You then are going to take your divisor, which is 14, and multiply by the quotient of 4, and you should get the number underneath, which is the dividend. And that is how you are going to solve long division problems. Please reach out if you have any other questions, and we're going to continue proctoring this now in class.